Hi everybody, TJ Mack of Vintage Cards and Nostalgia here, and today I'm doing my vote for the YouTube Sports Card Hall of Fame, and I'm doing this in a different room than I normally film my videos in. I'm not showing any cards, so I just decided to do it in this room instead. And the two things that I considered, in addition to other things of course, but I considered for everybody that I voted for, is they had to make at least 10 videos in the last year, and I don't think that's a lot to ask. That's probably about a video every 5 weeks. YouTube is a content creation platform, so I think you should have some videos out over the course of a year. And then the other thing would be, have you voted in the YouTube Sports Card Hall of Fame in the past? Because we do put ourselves out here with these votes. I know not everybody's fond of the YouTube Sports Card Hall of Fame. And as I said in my video the other day, I completely respect that. I mean, there's just different ways we look at things. And that's one of the great things about being in a free society, as they say, is that we can exchange ideas. We don't have to agree on everything, and that is fine. For me, I look at the YouTube Sports Card Hall of Fame as just a fun way to recognize some channels that you appreciate. Doesn't mean it's every channel that I appreciate. I only can pick 10, but today I picked out 10 that I thought should be considered for the YouTube Sports Card Hall of Fame. So without further ado, here I go. First channel is Bear Cards 34, Brian's channel. I've been a subscriber to Brian's channel for at least a couple of years, and he's just somebody that's very supportive of others in the community, comments frequently, puts out content on a fairly regular basis. He collects vintage football into 80s football and does a lot of modern rips as well. I don't collect modern football cards, but I do appreciate the game, and I like about Brian is that he has a very good knowledge of the history of football, as well as cards that were issued certainly from the 80s into the modern era. And I just have a lot of appreciation for what he does. And I just love his demeanor when he does videos. He's always very positive, loves to share knowledge, gets excited when he gets a good pull out of a pack. And I don't even rip packs, but he's just somebody that I connect with and I think is certainly worthy for consideration. Next up is Brandon's Baseball Cards. This title's a little bit of a misnomer for his channel. Brandon's very much into unopened sports and non-sports cards. I think probably when he first started his channel, maybe it was more baseball cards. But again, not something I collect, unopened cards, but I just like the way he shares knowledge on the topic, and I just like seeing what he adds to his collection. He also brings on other unopened collectors to his channel, and I do like watching those videos. Brandon sometimes is known for expressing his feelings through his videos. He's very passionate about protecting the unopened community, and I do have a lot of respect for that. So certainly think Brandon is somebody that I wanted to put forward for consideration. Next up is Chuck, Northside Guy, and this is a glaring omission from my ballot last year. I realized it after I submitted it. I mean, sometimes it happens. We just miss somebody when we go through it. And I felt bad about that because I think Chuck has one of the best eyes for vintage cards in the community. And what I like about him is when he gets a card, I mean, a lot of times it just speaks for itself, the beauty of it. He just talks a little bit about it, but he's somebody that really appreciates the greats of the game and just buys such high-quality cards. And doesn't go on and on about it, but he's somebody that, like I said, just has a great eye for quality and somebody that has his ear and what's going on with the hobby. He's also a great commenter on other channels as well, and somebody that I just have a lot of respect for. He's got one of the best collections going. Next up is Don's Field of Dreams Cards. Don has said before on his channel, and I probably mentioned it as well, we started our channels around the same time, and he's somebody I've grown along with in this community. He's more outgoing than I am. I think I'm much shyer than he is. He's somebody that's really got active into the live streams, and I'm glad he's done it because he's got a lot of knowledge about collecting, and he's got a wonderful sense of humor as well. And his collection is one of meaning. The cards that he adds, he loves Hall of Famers as predominantly what he collects, but the cards that he gets are ones that really have meaning to him. He just doesn't go out and buy like every card of a certain player and things like that. He looks for specific ones that he thinks fits within his collection. His card room is just fantastic. He built all his display cases. And he's just somebody that I watch every one of his videos as well, and he's somebody that I have a connection with, and certainly, like I said, worthy of consideration. Next is Eddie's Cardboard Chaos, and Eddie's somebody that I only really got to know last year, and he's somebody who does TTMs. He's out in the Washington area, not Washington, D.C., but Washington State. Big Seattle Mariners fan, loves the game of baseball, the history of the game. I know he's into Warren Spahn as well. And somebody that's comes across as a genuine person. I think, most of us as content creators do, but he really comes across that way in his videos, and just somebody that I appreciate his approach to collecting. And like a lot of these people I'm going to nominate, I don't really collect the way they do, but I respect the passion behind how they collect, and it draws me into watching their videos. So Eddie's somebody that I just wanted to put forward. Next up is Ken's Cardboard. And Ken's another person. I probably got more involved in his videos over the last year, maybe a little more than that. Ken is out in Colorado and just has another one that has a collection that he's just very passionate about. I know he's into Colorado Rockies players, Nolan Arenado, Todd Helton, Jackie Robinson with the old Brooklyn Dodgers as well. And he's gotten into hockey, which has just deepened my connection with him because I love hockey cards as well. And he's just got a nice demeanor about him as well in his videos. He just draws you in when each one comes out. And I've just grown to appreciate his channel more and more over time, and I'm just happy to put his name forward. And next up is Tony Black. I put Tony's name forward last year, TB's TTM autographs. And another thing, I don't do TTM, as I've mentioned, like I know Eddie does it as well, but it's another person that I just kind of learn about that aspect of the hobby through. And he's somebody who's very supportive of other channels as well. He puts out frequent content. His videos are usually pretty short. He just gets right to the point. That seems to be the kind of guy he is. Puts his video out there with the autograph, talks a little bit about the player, and moves on to the next one. So I just wanted to put his name out there as somebody I appreciate for what he does in the community. Next up is the Card Closet, Eric. And as Eric mentioned in the video when he had put my name forward, is that we don't collect really much in the same way at all, other than we both like vintage cards. Eric's very much a set collector, which I am not, and he has a wonderful collection of vintage sets and modern sets as well. A big Red Sox team collector, and just somebody that I've been watching for years, as long as I've been in the community, and I just love his videos. I get some idea of what's going on in the modern baseball world through his videos, as well as with Lakers cards, modern, and also Steelers modern football cards. So, easy name for me to put forward because I watch the videos and just love what he does. Vintage Card Steve is my next nomination. Another one that he collects similar to how I collect baseball, though I do football and hockey, and he does these videos where he'll just either do a player profile or he'll just pick cards out of his collection, sometimes seemingly random, but it does cross the different decades that he collects, which appears to be pretty much post-war all the way up to the modern game. And he just has a very broad, great collection of different players, not just Hall of Famers, but some of the guys that maybe are a little under the radar, and has great knowledge of the players as well, and just a very deep collection that I appreciate. And Steve is somebody that he's always out there commenting and very supportive of a lot of channels. And his subscriber count's, I think, somewhere in the 500s, but if you look at his videos, he gets a lot of people commenting and a lot of people liking his videos. He has a very passionate following for what he does, and I have a lot of respect for that. And last, but certainly not least, I did these in alphabetical order, is Wade Boggs fan, John. And John's another one that's always out there putting different types of videos together. He does like top 10 most valuable cards from different years. He's got his 100 cards for 100K, now 100 cards for 10K. He does his show with Don, Two Guys, One Hobby, and just somebody that touches a lot of different aspects of the hobby as well. He supports in other channels as well. And John and I have a lot of similarities in how we collect. We both like vintage cards, of course. John's a little more analytical probably than I am with cards. I'm more into like the stories and things like that. But that's what I appreciate about him. We're not all the same. We may both love vintage cards. We might go a little bit about it differently. We like graded cards. And he's also, of course, the elephant in the room, a huge Wade Boggs fan as well. And just as others have mentioned, he interviewed Wade this year, earlier in the year. And wow, what a special moment that must have been for him. And he just did a fantastic job with it as well. And I think John is somebody that's very deserving for consideration as well. So those are my 10 channels. I hope everybody has a great rest of the day, and I wish everybody that I put forward, and as well as all the other channels that were nominated, best of luck. And really the big thing about this is hopefully some folks got some exposure for their channels and maybe got some other subscribers out of it that they can further connect with. Everybody take care.